So this is Varndean on Cinema. Welcome to a podcast. We are going to be talking about the films we've seen in the first year, like obviously in film studies, and hopefully ranking them. It's going to probably be, I think some of them we're going to agree with probably quite a lot. I think others are going to be like really big disagreements. Okay, not big, but I think some of them are going to be kind of all over the place, like love or hate. So it's 6 films. It's Vertigo. What's it? Vertigo, Bonnie and Clyde. This is England, Trainspotting, La La Land, Beast of the Southern Wild. It's those 6. We've got Jamie. We've got
Hello.
Harry. It's me, Emma.
Hello.
So yeah, should we just get on with it?
Let's crack into it. Yeah.
Let's crack into it. So first one, I think we just should start with Vertigo. It's the first one we saw. Hitchcock. Did you guys like it or not really? Because
Yeah.
I think I'll just preface this whole episode saying it's my favorite.
are you serious?
Wow.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Because I
I
hate
don't
it
think it's
so
even like.
much.
Well, that's
You
really
what?
interesting.
I all of the films we've watched, like even
You
in the
hate
second
it.
year, like even with like Daisies and all of them, I hate Vertigo the most. It's my least favorite.
What's the main
It's-
reason for your hate?
I find it really creepy and kind of boring. I know it's like the best. I know people consider it like the best film ever made. I don't care. I don't like it.
Unbelievable. I'd say it's my
So,
second favorite film.
Maybe you can convince me.
Not ever.
What
Second favorite
about
we've
it?
done.
What about it is so great? Go on.
Okay,
Um,
I think the main thing for me is because I liked it more as we studied it, because I think the foreshadowing is really clever. There's lots of shots of Madeline and mirrors, for example, or whatever her other name is, Judy, and that's a very clear sign that there's actually 2 of them, and I think that the ending, it almost seems like it's going to end in a romantic way, and then I like that it doesn't. For like a 1950s film, I would have expected it to end in a cliche way, but he basically kills Madeline or Judy. Judy, I think Madeline's the wife.
it doesn't end in a
Judy's
cliche way though, but it's
doppelganger.
a bit of a silly ending. Not gonna lie. I mean,
Exactly.
I really
she gets
like.
scared.
I really like
She
the
gets
ending.
scared and falls off the building.
Well,
I think the nun thing was a bit not very subtle at all.
yeah.
No. Yeah.
Saying
But-
that like she'd sinned or whatever, but
It's sinful lady. I think I can recognize it's a good film. Don't like it. But I just like, yeah, it's a good film. All of the foreshadowing and like the use of color and all of that stuff. It is really good. It's like well made. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. Don't like it. So okay, if we're going like in terms of like, is it the best made film out of all of the ones we see? I'd be like, do you know what? Probably, maybe. But like in terms of
Right.
actually enjoying it, no. I hate him. I hate the main character. I think that's the thing. I
I
really
don't think
hate
he's
the main
meant
He is-
to
character.
be
he is a bit of a
lovable
weirdo.
guy, to be honest. But
But,
I
like-
think James Stewart's a likable actor.
Yeah.
He's a very likable actor.
I think I just find it really weird because I feel like he's meant to be sort of likable, but he isn't. I don't get what Hitchcock was trying to do. I don't know if he's supposed to be a bad guy or not, you know? And I find it really weird because I find him really creepy. And
I feel like a lot of the film is Hitchcock trying to trick audiences, because
okay,
he's like, up to this point, and I don't know if he has at all in his whole career, he'd never done like a supernatural film, and it looks like that's where this film is going, and then obviously that's not where it's going. It just turns out to be
Yeah.
more of a psychological thriller.
See, this
And-
was my first Hitchcock film that I watched. So watching it first
Yeah.
time, I didn't really know much about his style, so I kind of thought it was going to be like that fantasy kind of film, but not really. No, so. But
I don't know.
I thought it was good, and I'd say it's my second favorite one out of all the ones we've studied. But I can understand why you didn't like it. But no, it's not that bad.
I just like, I can recognize it's a good film. I just don't like it. I'd be
Okay.
I'd be happy to put it on like A tier, if that's
I mean,
I'd
I
I
say
would
feel
it
like
have
doesn't.
probably said A. Or,
Can
I
I
mean,
just
if we're
ask?
doing it
So
in
when
terms of this,
I was gonna say when we're doing this tier list, is it in terms of all the films? So is S like the best out of all the films we've studied, or is it S like in terms of
no.
every film ever? It's an S tier film.
Yes. We're not if not one of them has to be an S tier, if that makes sense.
Okay.
well, then I would say this is the one that comes closest, but I'd be reluctant to put it in S
Yeah,
tier
I'm gonna.
in
Okay.
I'd say
general.
A. I think we can sell for A.
I think A seems
Yeah.
as much as I hate the film, I do think it's actually a pretty good film.
Yeah.
I'm gonna okay,
I do feel like I need to really rewatch. I mean, obviously, when we get closer to our exams, I'm gonna have to rewatch them.
Yeah.
But this has probably been the one I haven't seen almost in the longest. But it's
Yeah.
almost
The first
also the
one
one
was
that
It
I
was the first
enjoyed.
one we did. Yeah.
I enjoyed studying it the most, I think, out of all
Yeah.
of them.
Like I think it's the most interesting. I don't think that makes it a good film.
Yeah.
Or like an enjoyable film. I think it's a good film. I don't think it's enjoyable. That's
but
like where
like,
I sit with it.
horror films, a lot of the time aren't enjoyable, but the best horror films aren't supposed to be. Like, really.
Yeah, but even like with other Hitchcock films, like The Birds or like obviously like Psycho is like the biggest one. I prefer those a lot more than this. And I think it's because it feels a lot more. I think it just feels a lot more obvious what it's trying to do, and Vertigo
Yeah.
just felt quite like.
I think I preferred Vertigo to Psycho, but I think I preferred the
Psycho's
ending
got
of
an
Psycho.
absolutely awful ending because
Oh,
not like the actual ending itself, but the sort of epilogue to the ending where
oh right, yeah. Well,
this guy in like a room
yeah, they have to
sort of
explain what
explains the
Yeah.
whole hidden backstory, and it's so
It is a bit
contrived.
yeah. Like I don't know, maybe it's a bit basic of me, but I just really the fact that I don't really get what Hitchcock was trying to do with Vertigo is what doesn't. It's like why I don't enjoy it. It feels very like I don't know. It just feels like it's nothing. You know, it's not horror. It's not romance. It's not really psychological. It's nothing. So I think that's part of why it's such a good
Yeah.
film. But it's why I don't like it.
No, I don't agree with people, and this is like one of the best films ever made. I think it's a mile off, but in terms of the films we've studied, I think it is probably one of the better ones. But yeah, it's definitely not the best film ever made, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think so, but I can understand why people would say it, but I wouldn't say it myself.
Fair enough. Okay.
So we're putting an A tier.
That's an A tier.
Yeah. So let's move on to the next film. What do we want to do next? Should we
say
do
Bonnie and Clyde?
Bonnie and Clyde.
Off the bat,
I think
where
it's
would you
worse
put
than
it?
Vertigo. I would.
Yeah.
It's for me.
I'd probably say
at least
B
for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
I'd
said
say B.
C.
Yeah, I maybe C, but I feel that's a bit harsh. I don't know.
I just think it's a bit boring. I think out of all of them, it's one of the most boring ones.
One of the boring.
I mean,
maybe
there's
I'm
a
being
few
really harsh
characters
with
in
these films.
A few characters in this film that are relentlessly annoying, like the sort of old woman who's
yeah.
the wife of another character. I don't even know her name.
Who ends up? Does she go blind at the end?
Just screams.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I had way more fun with this than I thought I would. With like it felt like a more modern than I expected a 1960s film to feel.
That's true.
Like the overall pacing of it was really fast and non-stop and really fun because of that, in my opinion.
See, I don't think it was that great. I didn't enjoy it too much, but so I would be thinking of putting it in C, but considering there's other films that I think we've done that are much worse than this, I feel that I need to hold off from C, and it's not that bad.
So we've got D and F. We've got we've got A, B, C, D, and F. So like
yeah,
C's literally just kind of like middle ground. I
think I almost need to sell this film because it doesn't sound like you guys.
Yeah, so
I just thought okay. So the one I think my favorite attribute of the whole film is the humor. It's like it does this thing where you think it's going down this dark route of this couple as they go on a rampage and it's going to be really sad. But they put lots of humor into
Humor.
otherwise dramatic situations, and that's something that you see a lot nowadays in films. But it was ahead of its time in that regard. Like the scene where he robs the bank and he's parking the car. I always found that funny. And to me, what's his name? CW.
I laughed at that film at all.
No, but I think like it is a decent point. The fact that like dark comedy is something that feels quite like new. Like you wouldn't expect there to be a dark comedy in the like 60s.
Yeah.
Is it the 60s? So it's like, I guess.
Yeah, I think it was 67.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was quite an innovative film, I guess, as well. Like with like all the technology. And I think is it the squib? Is that what they're called?
Yeah,
yeah, they're like
the
blood.
squibs for the blood.
Yeah, and that's showing that much violence and everything like that. It was so. In terms of importance of the film, it was a very important film, obviously, but enjoyable for me in the modern day. I'm not too sure.
I can understand that, but I had a lot of fun with it. I think it's also fairly modern representations of both the characters as well, and their dynamic. Also in terms of gender, it stands up, which is really strange.
It is
when there are the films from last year that don't stand up in that point. Like,
yeah, true.
I feel like with older films though as well, like with Vertigo, it's got more of a reliance on like mystery and like twists and stuff like this with the narrative, whereas which helps it hold up more in the modern day. Whereas with Bonnie and Clyde, it's more about the action and everything that goes on in it. It's not so much got them twists like we get with Madeline in Vertigo. So I feel like for me it doesn't hold up as well as Vertigo does, even though Vertigo is older. So that's just another thing.
You think it's too generic, too basic in story wise?
Yeah, and especially like
I think if anything, Vertigo would be more generic than Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, but I just feel like it's got more to hold on to. Like,
I mean, the most clever thing about Vertigo is all these at the beginning. There's like a massive amalgamation. How do you say that word of genres? You don't know which one. Yeah, whatever. What Emma said. And you don't know where it's going. Is it romance? Is it supernatural horror or whatever? And then it sort of just turns it very clearly, in my opinion, into a psychological thriller. You know, and this man who's gone insane. It's about obsession and stuff. But on the other hand, Bonnie and Clyde is just really quite simple, isn't it? I suppose.
The thing about Bonnie and Clyde is that it feels like quite honest in a weird way. Like I just think it just feels quite realistic. At the same time, it doesn't. But like the fact that they just seem like quite normal people, and I think that like obviously that's kind
other than how like stupidly attractive they are. Like that shouldn't be.
I mean, that's up to you, Harry. If that's what you think, that's what you think. You know, but like I guess
Warren Beatty.
No, but like in terms of like normally with the stories, if you have these like two criminals and like their little gang of criminals, it would probably usually get portrayed a lot differently than Bonnie and Clyde was, because I do feel like quite like I think that's what makes the ending that much, because I think the ending of Bonnie and Clyde is really good. Like I think that's the one thing about it that I think would maybe make me push it up to beat it, because it's like they just seem like normal people by the end of it, that you like genuinely likable characters, and the fact that that's how the story ends is like, oh, that's really sad.
I think I just appreciate how sort of like subtly nuanced all the characters are. Like can't remember his name, but the sheriff, I really like the scene where he
Hamer.
He
Frank
manipulates
Hamer. Okay.
He manipulates what's its wife.
And
the
annoying one
gets her to give CW's name. I thought that was really
a good scene.
Really well done. Yeah.
And
like you're made to not like him though, so he's not as nuanced in that regard, but I still like that scene.
Yeah.
Like I think something about it is very subtle, which I think is both why like someone could like it a lot, but then like why also it might just be seen as a bit boring, because like not much happens because of how subtle it is. I feel like a lot of the time. I don't know. It's kind of odd.
It's even you could look at it on the surface and see it's just a fun film from the 60s, you know, about love, and then they die and it's a bit sad. and tragic, or you could look a bit deeper and appreciate how, you know, innovative it was in story, in character representation, and technically as well. But I don't think that's enough to make it a great film.
Yeah.
It's just a really influential film, like Jamie was saying.
Yeah.
But I still had fun with it because I think some of the humor lands, and I really liked some of the characters. But
Okay. I think
that's about
yeah,
it for me.
I think so.
Well, what are we
yeah.
gonna say then? We're gonna go for C
Are we
or
going for C or B? Because I think
Well, I'd
I
definitely
don't
say
think
C
I
is
can't
too
put it in
low.
B. I can't put it.
So
I'm not.
I'm
Emma
not gonna-
gets the deciding. You get the
there was
deciding
C
vote.
at first, but now that I've like
Emma, no.
gone back and looking on it, I do think maybe
And
it
you've
could
gone
be
to
B.
D. Yeah, I agree.
No. I think it could
You've
be B. Honestly, I think it's a B. We'll put it in B. Okay.
Yo.
Bonnie and Clyde's going B. I'm sorry, Jamie. It's a B film. B tier
Unbelievable.
film.
Unbelievable.
I'm happy with that. I'm just must be a master persuader.
Manipulator.
Yeah,
Anyways.
well, you didn't persuade
Yeah.
me.
I'm Frank Hamer, whatever his name is.
Right, we're
Okay.
back from our technical break. So we've just put Bonnie and Clyde into B, and we're now going to do what one are we going to do next, guys?
Should we do This Is England?
This is England, yeah. That sounds
Yeah.
good to me.
Okay.
So, why don't you kick us off, Emma? Where do you place this film?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I've watched This Is England by myself, like all the way through. I didn't really like it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there.
What about you?
I
It was
think-
not the film for me.
I think it's good. Like, it's also just really good. I'm just
Just like all of the films, don't you?
This guy likes every
There's-
film ever made.
out of all the films we studied, at least in first year, I think each one was good, and they weren't all amazing, but I thought all the first year films were good. Like, I didn't like them initially all the time, but I grew to like each one, and love some of them.
Yeah.
So, what did you like about this film?
I wasn't a huge fan of the ending, but I know that's not what you asked. You asked what I liked.
Yeah.
I really liked the montage. I thought that was a clever way of setting the scene, and I had fun studying that, I suppose.
Yeah. And the montage of Margaret Thatcher.
But I suppose the themes aren't overly subtle, but I think they were important. And it's strange that it's set in the 80s, but it was made in the 2000s, and yet it's still relevant now and in the 2020s, I'd say, to a certain extent. And I think that the actor who plays Combo, I think his character was the standout for me.
Mm-hmm. I'd say out of all the first year films we studied, this is my second least favorite film.
Like, I just don't think I really liked any of the characters except for Combo. Like, not okay. I know that sounds
you
really
liked
sus.
Combo? That sounds horrible.
Like, I think he's
Emma.
a well-written character.
I really liked Woody. And then they sort
Woody's
of just
okay, true.
Yeah, he's not in it.
He's just like he's like a nice older brother character.
Yeah.
That's the energy he gives off.
Yeah, like I just don't think I really liked any of the. My issue is that you're obviously supposed to relate. Well, obviously Sean's the main character. You're supposed to kind of be relating to him throughout the film, but I just didn't like him.
I think
it's kind
that
of difficult to do that.
the main point of his character is, how easy these beliefs, then like these horrible sort of viewpoints can be pushed onto people, especially younger people.
Yeah.
I think, and yeah, he obviously sort of overcomes it by the end, but I think it's a bit worrying because it feels so real, and it makes it feel like this stuff does happen to kids.
I was gonna say, although this wasn't my favorite film, I do really want to see the next ones. I haven't seen them yet, but I do really want to see the next ones.
What, the sequel?
Yeah,
they're like TV series sequels, but they've also got like really good reviews.
Yeah, I just want to know what happens next.
Both This Is England and Trainspotting do a really good job at like bringing up issues that, like, obviously they weren't made now, but there are still issues nowadays. Like addiction is obviously still a massive issue, and like
Yeah.
just sort of how easy it is to kind of manipulate not even kids, just people in general to believe certain stuff, and especially like now with media, how easy that can become. I think like they are really relevant topics and they're quite important. So I'll give you that. Yeah.
I think that this film just shows is its best feat, in my opinion, is how it shows the difference between nationalism and liking your country, and the difference between that and discrimination and racism and stuff, which like a lot of people do have those beliefs, but I'd like to think less people do now than in 2006 and in the 1980s.
Well, the 80s were a scary time for like national.
Yeah.
The 80s were not a very good time for all that sort of stuff. I think in terms of like the social context of the films, I think out of the ones in the first year, this was one of the most important ones when it relates back to social context. I think that's its most important factor, I feel like, a lot of the time, kind of.
I think
it was a bit of a sad film.
It was
it is
weirdly
sad.
sad, but also kind of wholesome as well. Like certain parts of it were wholesome, in my opinion.
It is quite difficult because obviously it's quite sweet that he finds people, you know, like he does kind of make his own little family and stuff. But obviously, you know, then
not
like
the right family.
Like how easily that kind of turned against him, really, at the end of the day. It's quite sad. It's quite depressing.
It was,
I think it's a good coming of age film. Because a lot of it's the main thing of coming of age films is finding who you are, really, and he does. But he has to go through a lot to get there. But he looks at the camera at the end, and then it's all really cool.
Yeah, that is a good ending where he throws away the flag.
When you put it like in the context of like, obviously it is a coming of age film, like that's a big part of it. It's a good coming of age film, you know. It like ticks all the boxes for like that. So I don't know. It's quite difficult.
Okay, so if we're comparing this to Trainspotting, right? Because you know we study them together, we have to compare the thing.
Yeah.
Do you like it more or less than Trainspotting?
Oh yeah, I like it a lot more than Trainspotting.
No,
not a lot. I like it significantly more.
Trainspotting is one of my favorite ones out of the ones we studied. So
well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We got to rank this.
I know. But I mean, like,
so where are you guys suggesting we put this? I'm suggesting C.
Okay, I'm gonna say B and ahead of Bonnie and Clyde, but so I prefer it to Bonnie and Clyde, but I don't think it's higher than B.
I'm not gonna lie, I was gonna say C, but then again I was swayed.
Oh, come on.
I'm just
no, but like
Emma, you need to stop being manipulated. This is what he does. He manipulates us.
Jamie, maybe you need to become a better manipulator.
Maybe I should raise a point to put Vertigo in S.
No,
I am not budging. The fact that's already an A.
Okay.
No.
Oh, there you are.
Oh,
I thought that was Colgate toothpaste.
Hello. Oh yeah, God.
Refreshment.
Is it her tomato bottle? Is that what it is?
It's my tomato bottle. It's
Yeah.
got Campbell's soup on it.
Camel soup.
Okay.
Sorry, camel soup. Okay, anyway.
I need to turn notifications.
Oh, I still have no idea what you said.
Anyway,
yes. So we're putting that in B tier below Bonnie and Clyde.
Above Bonnie and Clyde. Not above Bonnie and Clyde.
What?
Wait, I am so amazing. That's.
Oh no! Actually, I don't know.
Emma, how can you go from putting it in C tier to putting it above another one in B tier? Like, come on.
Fine, we'll just put it in A, so it's out the way.
You might as well just put it in S.
No, I do think it's better than Bonnie and Clyde.
Okay. Okay. I see my.
It has like more conflict. I don't know. It's
what? Go for it. Go for it. You just wait till we get to La La Land, and then you'll all be convinced. So we're putting that in B tier. The next one is Trainspotting, I imagine. Yes. So
now, I love
Trainspotting.
It's probably one of my favorite films. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's not as good as Shallow Grave.
I think that it's was my least favorite film we studied so in the first year.
Okay, this is really interesting because you'd say it's your favorite, right, Emma?
Yeah.
And it's your least favorite, and I'd say it's probably like bang in the middle for me, like number 3, number 4. So
it cancels out that it's just a solid C. But then
Yeah.
I mean, it might do, yeah. I think you two should go first. Then you've got to try and sway me one way or the other.
Emma, I'll allow you to go first, since you really, really like it, and then I can crush your dreams and see how.
And then me and Jamie will run away holding hands with F.
Yeah, go on in.
Yeah, sure. I think the characters are really. I like all of the characters. Like, I think they're really well written characters. I think
one of them's called Spud.
Yeah, but like, I feel when like Tommy died. What's his name? Tommy? I can't even remember. But when he died, I was like, oh,
Bonnie.
That's really sad. The guy who dies because he gets addicted and then gets AIDS. I don't know. Like, in terms of context, I think it's equal, like same level as This Is England, because like addiction is like genuinely such a hard thing that people like still go through, and like people like they don't really get any help. Like people who suffer with addiction, like it's a genuine struggle that not only the people in the 80s have to go through, but like it's still an issue now. So I feel like it's really important in terms of that. But I think also just like character-wise, it's sort of like it's because like I really like all of the characters, to be honest. I think they're all really well written. Like
I really like Ewan McGregor, so that helps.
Yeah. Well,
see, I like Ewan McGregor as an actor, but I just feel like
I love Ewan McGregor.
Yes. That's what made me not like this film as much. I just didn't really like his character. And then
it's not Obi-Wan.
It's not enough like Obi-Wan for my liking.
Wow. Basic.
It was just completely out of character for him.
I like the growth of his character. I like how at the start he has this very nihilistic monologue, but then by the end, even though he's sort of fucked over some of his friends.
We don't swear. Whoa.
How dare you?
He said fudged.
He's still grown as a character by the end, and I really like his relationship with Spud. They're like little bromance.
Bromance. No, but like
bromance, how he steals his money.
No, but he gives him some of the money.
Oh, he gives him some of it, like a little bit.
He gives him a $5.
He gives him a $5. He's not that
He
bad
covers his taxi fare home.
No, but I think like just it feels the relationship. Like I just feel like the actual characters and the relationship between the characters is quite real. I don't know. Like none of it feels glorified. Nothing feels like unrealistic to me. I feel like it's sort of, I can believe that there would be a group of friends like that. I can believe that people would go, that like people are like that and stuff. Like I just find it very like realistic, I guess. I think
I agree with what you've said. Bar the cat, like I can't remember his name, but I guess you could call him the antagonist. The really like violent guy in the bar.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem as real to me. He seems more of like a cartoony villain. Not villain.
True.
He's not evil, but like his character trait is that he's angry and you can't understand what he's saying.
Okay, that's true. He's quite cartoony, but I think he's also just a great. Also, I can imagine meeting someone like that. I feel like I have met people who like I could be like, give it like 3 years and they're going to be exactly like that person, to be honest.
Yeah.
So it's like, as much as he is like quite, I think the way he looks is quite cartoony, which doesn't help his, like, I think that's why the character feels quite cartoony, because he looks quite, you could imagine him as a cartoon villain.
He's got a funny tash, doesn't he?
He does have a funny tash. And he's quite small. But I feel like in terms of actual personality wise, I can 100% believe someone being like that.
So we're back.
I'm back.
Emma was just saying why she liked the characters. So I wanted to know why Jamie presumably didn't like the characters so much. Because
well, I just found it all a bit boring. I mean, I appreciate the film is probably a good film, and to some people, and I can appreciate that, but it's just not my sort of film, really. I mean, I don't really like drug related and stuff like that. It's not my kind of stuff.
Not your cup
I
of
don't.
tea.
For instance, I don't like Breaking Bad, and that's.
I think this,
up
other
to you.
than there's drugs and addiction is kind of part of Breaking Bad. Other than that, that's like where the similarities end. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's just,
exactly. That's what I'm
to be
saying.
honest.
A main part of Breaking Bad is the drugs and stuff like that. So, and that is also a main part of this, and it's just that kind of stuff. I just don't find it that interesting. And even
can
though they are like
understand that,
some of the
I
most
guess.
popular shows, it's just not my cup of tea.
My
Then I
cup of
get.
week.
But yeah,
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Like the same with me and Vertigo, where it's like I can recognize it's a decent film. I
Yeah.
just don't like it. So I could
Yeah,
recognize
I
that.
think,
It's like fair enough.
to be fair, lots of people love musicals. Lots of people love like Singing in the Rain and stuff. But I just I can appreciate certain elements of them, but I just don't ever see myself becoming a massive fan of musicals.
yeah,
Unless it's The Lion King. That's
yeah.
not the film anyway, the original film.
Or
Yeah.
Frozen 3.
Yeah, can't wait.
Can't wait for
Counting
Frozen
down the days.
Yeah.
What would you say then for tier ranking it?
I mean, I'm gonna say, if I was to put one in F tier, this would be this one. But
Are you
I know
serious?
there's no point in me even mentioning that to you because I know it's not gonna happen. So I'm
No.
gonna say either D or C. So
And would you say S, Emma, if it's one of your favorite films?
No, but I would put it in A to be honest.
Okay,
I can't allow
I'm
that, I
going
can't.
right in the middle, and saying a B. But
A B. We can't put them all in B.
Yes, we can. Yes, we
No,
can.
we
if they're the
can't.
same, if they're the same level, that's where they go. Because
Oh.
these
No, I
the
don't.
next two
no.
we've got, I'm not sure will be in B.
Can we at least?
So it won't
can we
be
at
as
least
uneven.
put them in? Can we at least put it in C?
Excuse me, I had the same opinion about Vertigo. We put Vertigo in A.
Oh,
Yeah, but I
you
think
know what?
this is easy. I think this is
There's
easily
no
a
point in
B
me even
film.
being here. I might as well just go home. I'm already home. I might
Okay,
as well just
okay.
log off.
Jamie, do you want to put it under Bonnie and Clyde?
Yes.
Can I propose something?
Under This Is England.
Can I propose something real quick?
Yeah.
We all
Yes.
have a trump card where we can just sort of put one film, whatever.
Which we did at the end. Yeah, at the end.
Yeah,
We can
and then
move
at the
on.
end.
Yeah.
So we're putting Train Spotting in B.
Yes.
For now,
But
yeah.
it's the
I'd
lowest
say-
B.
For
I'd-
now.
I'd say we can compromise for now and put it as the lowest B.
Okay, that's a compromise. Compromise.
That's a compromise on my part.
The next film. Okay. Should we do? Let's do La La Land. I think because that was
Okay.
before we. Yeah. I would just like to kickstart this off by saying 3 words. Film.
What?
Emma.
Repeat
What a
yourself.
sentence.
Repeat yourself because it cut out and all you said was film.
that was my dramatic moment. Anyway,
I'm sorry, Jamie. I've got bad.
my 3
internet.
words were, "What a film."
Oh,
Water film.
what a film!
Yes, water film. I love
Water sheep.
What a film!
Water sheep. What a film! It's my favorite film we studied. It was my
Really?
favorite. It was great. It was
See,
absolutely.
I've
loved
liked
it
it less since I
Since
was
I've
like, this is
mentioned it.
amazing. And when I watched it before college, like way before I'd even finished secondary school. But no, I don't. I like it less now,
I think
personally.
honestly,
But I still think it's good.
that's kind of true. It's like one of the few films that after like all of the films I've enjoyed a bit more after studying them. La La
Yeah.
Land,
Except this one.
Oh.
This is
La
the
La
only
Land.
one
No,
I've.
I've loved it
Genuinely.
more every time I've watched it.
Wow.
No, I think it's
Yeah.
great. It's miles above any other film that we studied.
I think its
the
best
characters-
attributes definitely the lighting and the colours.
I love the main Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone. I just think great actors, actresses.
It is like really aesthetically nice. Like it's aesthetically,
Yeah.
really strong. It's really pretty.
I
I'll give you
also
that.
find like the narrative of the film kind of relatable because not relatable in the sense like it's some
You
guy
want to
that
be an
like,
actor.
they're chasing because they're chasing they're following their dreams and it's kind of like it's difficult. They're trying to make it, but it's just challenging for them. And then of course like they do make it in the end,
Yeah.
both
It's
of
like that
them,
sort of
but on
like-
their separate paths. And I just kind
Yeah.
of like that. And it's just
I think it is kind of true to life that
yeah,
often they don't go hand in hand, like relationships and
yeah,
success.
like the fact that they had to do that compromise already just makes it feel a lot more realistic and relatable than
Feels
Yeah.
like it enhances their relationship, I think. Yeah.
yeah.
and I really like the music in this film too. I mean, I think good music can just add so much to a film, and then this
Yeah.
is a prime example of that.
I mean, I might have already mentioned that I don't like musicals, so
Yeah,
I
quite
think
like
inherently I
musicals, yeah.
don't like it when
Yeah.
they just start dancing and singing their feelings. It's a bit too
Breaks from
on
the
the
realism.
nose. Yeah, but I was still like enamored by the colors and the acting and stuff.
Yeah.
So
It's kind of okay. If it was up to you, I feel like you're giving me S tier vibes, Jamie.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Damn.
Nothing less. S tier vibes.
see, I don't want to be that guy,
S-tier
but
vibes.
I'm B tier
I s-
vibes still.
I'd
Wait,
be
you're what?
happy. Honestly, I'd be
I'm
happy to
still
put it
B
in
tier
A.
vibes.
No. You say
wait.
A, I say S.
And if I say B, then it is
Then
A.
that means it all cancels out to go in A. I'm not.
So I'm gonna say C, so it goes in B.
No.
No, I'm joking. No, we could. I would settle for A because I think it's about the same level as the ones in B.
I think it's better than the ones in B. To be fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think it's
I
S
mean, is that
tier.
even a question? But here's the question now, though: does it go above Vertigo or below it? I'm
I'd say
obviously saying
below.
above.
I'm
Say
saying below, obviously, because it's.
I mean, you didn't even like the film.
No,
Yeah, to be
okay.
fair,
Because here's the thing. When it comes to actually studying it, I feel like with all of them, it was like, oh, I understand this bit more. Like, oh, I get why this person did this. Or like, it actually, I learned more about the film.
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't actually really learn anything with La La Land, to be
I
honest.
just learned how sort of problematic certain things about the film was, like the white savior
That's all
narrative
we
and
really
stuff.
learned.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's interesting.
Like, because like obviously
But
with
not in
stuff
a
like
good way.
Vertigo, it's like I remember like, oh, the green
Alright.
kind of represented Madeline, or like, or like guns are usually used as like phallic symbols in Bonnie and Clyde. Like there's always something like these little things you sort of learn. I feel like I didn't learn
Yeah.
anything with La La Land, to be honest.
No. See, I don't know. I feel like let's just settle for it in below Vertigo then. Bear in
Yeah.
mind, I have my
Below
wild
Vertigo.
cards.
Okay,
I can
before
play this at the
if
end.
it sounds like we're about to move on to the next film, so I just wanted
Yes.
to know if you had a favorite song.
Yes.
Ooh.
Well, actually, no. Hang on. I'm gonna need some time. You're gonna have to go to a break.
Do you want me to say mine?
Yeah. What's your favorite song?
Because mine is I think I'm in the same. I think Lisa, our teacher, she said that her favorite was the John Legend song. You know, the one that's sort of the one that Ryan Gosling, his character, he makes when he goes off to this band that he doesn't
Can you just sing
actually
it?
like.
Just
What in the
give it a little
concert?
sing.
Like the concert scene.
Yeah, and it's the only song I've like actually ever listened to much or consistently since
I
I've
had
seen
the
the film.
same thing because it's
I was like, this is a jam.
it's
So
like
I
the
like-
Spire one.
actually,
See, I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
get their playlist up now. Actually, no. Wait. Let me have a look. What's it called again?
it's
I
your
think-
favorite film.
Someone in the
No, I
crowd.
know.
I like
See,
the
I know.
little build up
City
bit.
of City of Stars
Yeah.
is like that song is.
Du-du-du-du-du-du.
Yeah, that's a great song, but I can't remember the names of the other ones. So
There's like someone in the
Uh,
crowd.
have we got? Is
Yeah.
it someone in the crowd? Yeah.
Someone in the crowd.
I think
is
the
one of the
opening
four
one is
girls.
the
Another
best
Day of Sun?
musical
Another Day of
one.
Sun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You've got the one where she's the audition scene. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. I don't know, but
Well, what's your favorite song then, Jamie?
I'm gonna say City of Stars.
so
Basic.
does that mean we can put the John Legend song in S tier, just the song?
Just
we're rating the
John Legend
song.
song.
What?
S tier song. Okay. So,
So
we
that's
agree that
that there. Yeah.
La La Land is under Vertigo, but it's still
Okay.
A
And the
tier.
last one now.
Last one,
Is
Beast of the Sun and Wild.
Beast of that's the one.
No, I feel like I feel like you two won't like it. I feel like you two don't like it. I don't know why.
I think it's it's my least favorite, but I think it's still good. but it's the
I
only one I'm
think
sort of leaning to a C.
It's my third favorite out of all of them.
Wow, because I actually really like this film a lot. It's
Yeah, I
probably one
really
of my
like it.
favorite ones. Yeah.
I have a very strange relationship with this film because
What does
Why?
that mean?
I did not study it initially
What?
in
Oh,
A
what?
level. I
Oh,
studied it initially at GCSE, and I
Oh,
thought it was at the time, in like a 15-year-old boy mindset, I thought it was the worst thing I'd ever see because I only liked Avengers at the time. But now I think it's pretty good, but it's still easily my least favorite.
Yeah.
I really like it. I think
Mhm.
the way you're genuinely put in like a childlike perspective, I think it's done really well and like really smart. Because like there is something really like I feel like the movie makes you look at her world in such a like curious childlike way that I think it does really well, like genuinely. And I really
It's
like
good
the film for that.
immersion.
Yeah. Because I think like especially if you compare it with like This Is England, where they're both kids. I think the way that Beast of the Sun one makes you like genuinely feel like you're like looking at the world with like genuine like curiosity, like childlike curiosity, I think is actually really impressive how they did it.
I think the fundamental difference between Sean and what's her name, Hush Puppy,
Hush Puppy,
is that Sean's a teenager experiencing a coming of age story, and Hush Puppy's it's more like you said, childlike innocence. I think they're quite different. In my opinion.
I think like the fact that it can put you in that perspective, I think is quite an accomplishment, to be honest.
Yeah.
What about you, Jamie? What do you think, Jamie?
I just thought it was just an
good film.
Yeah, good film. It was interesting. Actually, I don't know how. I don't know why. That's why.
You just not remember what you liked about the film.
Yeah.
I liked the music. I found.
The music was.
It was.
Really good,
it was quite acoustic, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
I thought it was quite good.
I just thought it was something different, kind of like as well. Like it's something. I don't know. It's just more. It just appealed to me more. Like it's not a sort of film you see. Like I haven't seen a film similar to that before. Whereas like with Train Spotting and this is England and stuff like that, it's kind of more common to come across films like that. I suppose that's more because it's an independent film. So
yeah, that's true. It's like the only independent one we watched, really.
Most of them are indie. Like I guess
La La Land is not independent.
Vertigo, Bonnie and Clyde definitely aren't, and La La Land isn't.
Yeah.
But I'd say This Is England definitely is. Train Spotting definitely is.
This Is England.
So it's half and half.
Yeah,
half and half. I think out of all of them, it's the one that feels the most independent.
It feels the most.
I think it's because it's the one that uses the most handheld.
Yeah, probably.
It's literally. I think it's entirely handheld. I might be wrong.
What were the giant beasts called that Hush Puppy liked?
She didn't like them.
The boars.
She did. She became friends with them.
Yeah.
She just sort of accepted them because she accepted her grief. It's quite sad.
What are they? So where are you guys going to put it?
I think I'd put it. Honestly, I think I'd put it in 80. I do generally really like this film a lot.
I'm going to say B2.
You say B?
Yeah, B2. So it can join the crowd.
Harry,
I was torn between B and C, but no matter what I say, it's going to end up in B, right? I just wanted to quickly say, what did you think of Wink? Because I want to maybe see if I convince you, because it's meant to be like the main part of the film, their relationship. But they hate each other the whole film, and then at the end we're meant to feel sympathy for them, and it's very contrived the way they use music and stuff to make us feel sad, when I don't think they earned that at all.
I think it's justifiable.
There's obviously other like political problems you could talk about the film, like poverty and how they betray people. But betray people. But
betray them.
I think I think the main theme is their relationship, and
It's family.
I don't think it was done well, which is why I can't
Mm.
say it's a B tier. I'd say it's a C tier.
I don't, because I feel
But
like
I know that doesn't help really, because
I don't know, because like to me, what the film is kind of about is like how they're like it's its own separate group. You know, I'm like that. It's I feel like it's also about how Hush Puppy deals with loss, and it's not just about the loss of her father, but also just like how like the whole community lost their actual home. You know?
yeah, there was a word for that we did in our essay. And ideology wasn't there for like teamwork, communities,
Oh, I don't know. Well,
but
Yeah,
communism.
probably.
I can't remember.
Marxism.
There's so many. There's like it's not definitely not feminism.
No, but it was
No,
like
no.
I think I guess it kind of depends what your opinion is of what the main theme of the film is, because for me it's like just how she dealt with loss. you
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
how she kind of
I can understand that.
So
yeah.
so we're putting it in B tier then. Whereabouts in B tier?
I'm
I would say
definitely at the bottom of B tier. Like that's my. If it's going in B tier, it's got to be at the bottom of B tier.
I think
I'd
it
put it
goes
top
I
of
think it
B
goes
tier.
behind La La Land.
But La La Land is A tier, Jamie.
No.
We're saying it's B tier. You're the one who advocated for A tier La La Land. Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely going. It's definitely going.
It's definitely gonna go
Yeah, that's
on
what I
to
mean.
La
It's
La Land.
going behind La La Land.
I mean, you're not wrong, Jamie. You're not wrong, but
I thought it was in B tier in the end.
no,
Oh
you
my
won,
God.
Jamie. You got A tiered. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well.
I'd say
Yeah,
I would put it top.
basically-
I would put it top of B tier.
I would
Everything's gone
also
B tier
put it
almost.
top of B tier.
You lose, Harry.
Yeah.
I think
Let's go.
second year, when we've watched all the second year films and get ready to rank them, I think the list is going to be a lot more spread out. I feel
Yeah,
like.
Yeah,
I feel like that,
definitely.
yeah.
Because right, they're literally all just an A and B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
We all. I
there we
like
go.
them all, so.
There we
So we've
go.
done them all now.
Well,
So
we've
should
ranked all
we
the films.
leave-
We're gonna go. We'll take a quick break.
No, should we just
and then
should we just end it?
we'll
should we just end it?
We didn't
Yeah,
use
so
our
it-
trump cards. Oh.
yes.
Do you really want to do the trump cards, Harry?
Yeah,
'Cause
so
then
I
we
could
have-
put Beast of
Yeah,
the Southern
yeah, we will
Wild.
do our
Okay.
trump cards. Yes, we
I-
need to do our trump cards. So we'll
Okay,
take
I'll-
a quick break and we will be back in
Okay,
a
I'll
second.
start a new one. All right.
I don't think I've done a reintroduce, so maybe I should step up this time.
Okay.
Right,
Go on. It's
go.
recording. We are recording.
Okay, so we've put all the films into a tier list. Now we get to implement our trump cards to put them wherever we want. Just one film, but I'd say we could put the, like. Should we say as many spaces we want, or should we limit
Yeah,
it slightly?
there's no fun if we can't
Okay.
do that.
Um,
Okay, so-
do we know where they all are? It's just Vertigo, La La Land A, and the rest in B.
The rest
right?
are in B. Yeah.
So who wants to?
Harry,
be
is
the
your
first
idea,
one to
so I'll let
break.
you
Who
go
goes
first.
first? Because
I'll
I
let you go
don't
first.
I don't
yeah.
really know what you guys are on about. So
Okay.
I'm just gonna
Oh,
let you guys.
well then, Harry.
Do you not know what? What do you mean? You don't know what we're on about?
I don't really know what you mean by
Just-
trump card. So I'm just gonna.
So we can move one film wherever we want in the list.
Oh.
That-
Okay.
yeah.
Mm.
So
What's your pick, Harry?
I'm going to rule out Vertigo, and I think I'll leave La La Land in A. I'm happy with all the ones in B. But I also just want to preface this before I say this. I think that we shouldn't be able to move one that the other person's just moved, because that would.
Oh yeah, that's
Okay,
why I
no,
let
yeah,
you go
that's fair, that's
first,
fair,
just in
that's
case
fair.
that was
So
a
I'm
rule.
gonna move Beast of the Southern Wild, and it's not that exciting. I'm just gonna move it to C tier because I think you guys are gonna do more exciting movements.
Okay, that's a bit boring, but I mean, okay, if that's how
It's
you
gonna
want to play
move
it.
Beast
then-
of the Southern Wild.
Mm.
How dare
You wanted to move it up.
I want to move it
Ah.
up. I want to move
Oh,
it
now I'm
up.
happy with what I've done. Yes.
Oh, what have you done?
Okay, so now you've just moved
But yeah,
it.
what are you gonna do now,
I swear,
Emma?
C.
please
What are you gonna move?
leave. Do not
Well,
touch La La Land unless you're moving it up.
I I might move La La Land just to spite you, Jamie. No, I think I'd move Train Spotting, to be honest.
Okay.
To S.
But I don't know if I'd move it. I don't know. I'd want to
Wait,
move
hang
it
on,
to
no-
S. But then putting it above like La La Land and Trainspotting doesn't seem right either. Like I don't think it's an S tier film.
You're gonna
Be
put
careful what
Trainspotting
you do
above
here, Emma.
Trainspotting.
I've moved Trainspotting to A.
Okay.
You've moved.
You
I
have
was going
all
to
the
move.
power.
No, wait,
Oh, that's
wait,
kinda-
wait. Can I undo what I've
No,
done?
you've locked it in now. No, you locked it in.
I
You've
was
locked
gonna-
it in.
I
What
was
are you
gonna change it.
undo?
I was gonna undo it and move Vertigo to F.
To F. No.
No.
You fool.
You've locked it in now.
I have.
Trainspotting's there. So that leaves me with the final decision.
You're gonna put
I was
La La
either
Land
going to
in
move
S tier,
Vertigo,
aren't
not
you?
Vertigo. I was either going to move Trainspotting or La La Land, but you've leaving me with no other choice. So La La Land can go to S.
I hate this.
And so that
I
means
knew this would happen. I knew.
This is so predictable.
Varndean on Cinema can all confirm that La La Land is the favourite film we
No.
studied in the first year.
Yeah, everyone in the
Um,
whole group chat and the whole.
Yeah, everyone
whole
who
group.
wasn't here,
Everyone
I'm sure
involved.
they were. Yeah, so
We speak
So,
for everyone, and
We
it's
went from
objective.
having Vertigo and La La Land in A tier, and This Is England, Beast of the Sun World, Trainspotting and Bonnie and Clyde in B tier, to now having La La Land S tier, Vertigo and Trainspotting A tier, This Is England and Bonnie and Clyde in B tier, and Beast of the Sun World in C.
hell yeah.
We did it, guys.
Well done, everyone. Well done, everyone. La La Land, best film ever made.
No.
Confirmed.
No.
Anyway, well,
Anyways,
it's
that was
been
fun.
a pleasure, guys.
It's been a fun
Absolute
I'm
time.
afraid that does bring us to the end of our episode, but
Yes, sir.
I'm sure we will do a part 2 once we've finished watching
Once
all
you've
our
seen-
second year
yeah.
films.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'll
so
probably be near the new year.
that'd be
if
exciting.
you're still
Yeah, true.
checking us out by then.
I'm sure. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah,
Why
I'm
wouldn't they?
It'll be in a while, but
Yeah.
hopefully-
So, thank you for joining us. Yeah.
bye.
Say goodbye,
See
Emma.
you next time.
Say goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye.